Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to our Black Mind Matter UK Live. Let me just, why is it not working? There we go. Yeah, so today we are going to be talking about the Nigerian diaspora with Alexndr and returning home. And we're also going to be touching on some stuff that's been happening in Nigeria recently, and Alxndr working in the third sector, which is also known as the charity sector. So yeah, just going to wait for him to join us, and I'm going to tag this in the comments. There we go. Amazing. I hope everyone's having a really good Sunday. We've got some great topics. Here he is. Discuss him. So yeah, any questions that you guys have, drop them in the comments along the way, and we will get to them. Hey.
How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you, Alexndr?
I'm well. I'm good. Yeah, I'm having a good day. Yeah. I've been like kicking it with the plants.
Cool.
Chilling, cooked a little bit, had some planting. I'm good.
Sorry, how did you say it? I just want to hear you say the plot, because there's a debate. Sorry, say that again?
London.
Planting. Okay, you said planting. All right, cool.
I was probably trying to slur my words. Planting.
Planting. I see loads of likes going off there about the debate. But amazing. You got a wonderful plant collection, by the way.
I know. I'm really grateful. This summer, I decided to kind of go into myself a little bit, and the plants were awesome because it's that therapeutic, like one man exercise where if you're too fast or you don't pay attention, you're going to kill something, right? And
yeah,
it might a whole year for that thing to grow back. So you're conscious of it, and you're trying to learn from your past mistakes, and you're trying to, I don't know, I like the idea of life, like being inside the house and stuff. So
wicked. Make sure you don't overwater them.
I know, because it's got colder now, so they don't need as much.
Oh, you know. Yeah, no. What plants have you got? Have you got an aloe?
Yeah, what we got? We got a snake plant.
Wicked.
Snake plant and prayer plant. Not a snake plant, sorry, prayer plant.
Oh, beautiful.
We've got an umbrella plant.
Nice.
We've got Caladius, Heart of Jesus.
Oh, okay.
We got a pothos. We got some succulents. We got a citrus tree, yucca tree.
Ooh.
Stuff.
You got some like good plants there. You've got a diverse mix of plants.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get them through winter though. Fingers crossed. There's some avocado as well. I'll give you some. I'll send you one. I'll put one in. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Do you just want to like introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are?
Okay, so I'm Alxndr London. I'm an artist from London. I dabble in a few different things, but I'm known for singing and music, and unfortunately this year has been difficult on the artist, so I haven't been touring this year. I haven't been performing. Studio sessions are limited to mostly like online digital sending back and forth, but that's my music stuff. And I also work in the third sector. I've been in several roles all over the years, but I am currently working with homeless adults, supporting them off the streets of London into temporary and long-term accommodation.
Wow. Okay. I think do you know what? All of that together is incredible. Particularly, like I really resonate with the homeless like side of things, because I feel like outside of Black Minds Matter UK, I do voluntary work with a group, and I feel like homeless people can be quite forgotten. Like they are like the forgotten people. I feel like, I don't know if you would agree, like throughout this pandemic, a lot of people have gone into survival mode, which I get, but there are other people out there who literally need our help. And I do feel like they have definitely been forgotten about this in 2020 now, so more than ever.
You know what's crazy? Like, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, members of the public generally, we see people like on TFL, like, you know, like transport, or you see people as you're walking around or in the office or wherever your walks of life take you, and you don't necessarily know what's going on for everyone.
Yeah.
So I think during COVID, what happened is, me personally, I've been there where like I wasn't homeless. There was definitely a couch available or a little corner of a room where there was maybe a blow-up bed. You know them blue and the red on either side, and you know you're there pumping up the bed and making sure that you make yourself as invisible as possible come morning time, because you don't want to be a burden on anyone. You know, you want to pack, clear away, allow that person to have their living space. A lot of people didn't have that luxury during COVID, so the silent homeless, the invisible lot, they all of a sudden started presenting themselves and saying, look, I've been managing and coping, but right now this family I'm staying with can't keep me, or my friend can't keep me, or my relationship has broken down, or I'm no longer working, etc. And you had your normal homeless community, but then you had this extra surge, which was challenging. And it's happening again, I guess, because second lockdown's approaching.
Yeah. I guess this year's probably been quite tumultuous. I don't even know if that's the right word, like for you, being an artist, being a creative, and then working within the third sector. Like, how was all of that before COVID, and how is all of that now? Like, now we're in it.
Before COVID, I think I struggled already trying to balance both of the heads, or the hats, I should say. So you're trying to be free, you know, coming and going, like easy with the music, lightweighted, but really and truly, music, for me personally anyways, it draws on some of the darker moments and some of the more challenging things. So as much as it's a healing exercise to perform, sing, and it's quite meditative, it's still quite difficult, as much as most healing is. You know, if you break your arm, it's not going to be fun till it's better, you know, and that process feel good. So yeah, that was a bit challenging, I think. Just already trying to bring some of your, you know, your more vulnerable moments to an audience, or, you know, a room full of people, and someone's on their phone, like you can't get into your head about it. You're in the studio, and etc. etc. You couldn't get you know, but it can be challenging. And then I think trying to also reconcile the idea that, you know, I don't really think a lot of the creative world at times can fully understand some of the plight of these others. Sometimes your head is in the, we need to make a hit, we want to be at Glastonbury, I want to be this, I want to be that. And some of the challenges of working in the third sector is, it's like, I want this girl to not be attacked today, or I want this man to not go back to those substances, or I want this relationship to mend itself because this person's on a destructive cycle. I'm trying to talk really absently about some of the cases that you come across, and yeah, just trying to balance the two heads, because in one space you know, you're dealing with it, and the other one you're like, I need to let it go. So that was before. During our creative world, everyone knows we got shut down this year completely, and I feel sorry for some of my like peers and my colleagues and family who music is their one and only thing. And they don't necessarily have some of the spaces they had before. Access to certain opportunities ain't gonna be the same till things look like they used to. And I don't know that they will,
if they ever do, which is scary.
And then for the future, I've just literally decided that after George Floyd and all the other brothers and sisters who passed due to the murders that occurred and have been occurring, then we had, you know, we had SARS as well. Like we had an outcry from Nigerians across the world for change, for, you know, better living conditions for people back home, for an end to the oppression, for a change in the mindsets and attitudes of the leadership and maybe some of the older generation. Yeah, it's been up and down and all over the place. I hope I answered your question.
No, you did. I feel like there's such a struggle for basic human rights, like literal, like basic human rights, like things that we should have, like everybody should have across the world. Like, you know, people in Nigeria are asking, like, treat us like we're humans. Do you know, like it's something that should be so, like, such a basic requirement of life, but it's just difficult for some reason. And again, going out to the creative industry, I guess for you, by the sounds of things, is you look at it, like you said, one way, and then you've got another way that you look at it because you're wearing a couple of different hats. I think.
But I mean, that's not to say that you don't have homeless musicians. Do you get what I'm coming from?
Yeah, no, of course.
You know, or
you
have substance misuse or addictions, or so it's not, you know, it's not like I'm doing something special or different, but I'm just acutely aware of some of the challenges that both sectors deal with, and it's like first world problems. The homeless man saying, "Oh, my sound check didn't go good." You know what I mean? Like, it is, but I get that we see the world at like different levels, and what we see, sometimes we forget that maybe we used to see the world down here, and we've now become accomplished. We've now gained some success. Sometimes we forget where we're coming from, and I think this year I've been reminded that I'm a black man. I've been reminded that I'm African, that I'm Nigerian. There's not been a way to escape it and be like, "Hey, Alexndr in the house." No, I've had to deal with a lot of the realities, like the music industry. I'm just waiting to see what's gonna happen, because and I mean, I don't want to scare anyone, but is it gonna go back to normal, and what does the new look like? And I mean, maybe that's another conversation when we're not on, like, I don't want to spread no, you know, but
no, I understand what you mean, but we don't know, like
we don't, and it's scary, a little.
It's very scary. It's like fear of the unknown, like what's going to happen, when are people's lives going to be able to continue again. We've got another lockdown on Thursday, people thinking about like their jobs, their bills, all of this kind of thing. So again, and I think as well, you mentioned seeing things from different levels, and I think it's perspective, and like you see things based on your perspective. But I think when you do multiple things in life, it also reminds you how grateful you have to be for them small things like heating or running water or a bed.
So I went to Nigeria I went once many years ago. We're talking about 1999. And if you can imagine what everyone's talking about now in 2020, I'm talking about 1999. So I remember acutely, we're driving down from the airport to wherever we're going, and there were just hundreds, if not thousands. I mean, I know that sounds a bit over the top. Maybe it was hundreds and I was just a kid and it looked like millions of people.
Yeah.
But you're driving down and they're just on the roadside. They're not wearing hoodies and looking bad. They're not chilling like it's a hot summer's day. No, they're homeless. They're the poor, they're the vulnerable, they're the destitute, the forgotten. And it's crazy how, like, you know, all these years later, I work with a similar community in the UK, in London. But I think about them moments and I think about the impact seeing something like that as a young child would have had on me, how that would have possibly made me aware of the fact that I'm on my way to to this house and we've got food and family and everything. But these people are like begging on the roadside. Some of them don't have legs. They're not using wheelchairs. They're on skateboards. You know, that kind of level.
Wow.
So, you know, wheelbarrows, literally, people in wheelbarrows pushing people around. So, of course, this is not Tenny. This is not Burna Boy. This is not Wizkid. This is not Davido. You know what I mean? So, again, perspective. And some people can live in and amongst that and it don't affect them. And I'm not going to talk on their empathy or their level to understand things. Maybe, you know, I can't talk for anyone else, but for me, yeah, it's something I'm just aware of. And I think that just helps me to, you know, take time, calm down, and maybe humble myself at times when I'm getting carried away and I'm forgetting that I'm aware that it's bigger than me, it's bigger than, you know, the moment. And again, this goes back to SARS, isn't it? Again, the whole idea that us that are aware of this, and it's not just me who's seen stuff like this in Nigeria, us that are aware of this, we wanna be part of the change. We want to be the helping hand. We want to be invested in whatever needs to be done.
Yeah.
Walking down to Parliament to go and stand in the rain versus getting shot if your parents didn't come all those years ago and have you in the UK, you know. So if that's all I need to do to commit to it, if all I need to do is repost a couple of posts online, it's light work, you know. Again, perspective. I know that it's not going to cost me anything. And it's easy work. If that's what's going to allow me to just jump on a plane and go back to Nigeria and be like, I've arrived, and not have to worry about no light, no water, insecurity, police brutality, just oppressive mindsets as well, you know, super oppressive mindsets. Like some of the older generations, like some of their attitudes and values are stuck in the 20s, you know, super old school. And it doesn't match or marry with their actual
reality.
All of that.
Yeah. But talking about all of, you know, everything that you've seen as a child, everything that you've witnessed, I know, like, when we spoke yesterday, we were talking about, like, your EP and, like, you know, your influences, because I know your EP's just been released. So, yeah, do you want to talk us through your EP and, you know, how that was sort of birthed?
So, for me, Alxndr London is a project. It was an idea, a concept I had back in 2023, and the idea was, sorry, pardon, was so in 2020, so in 2013, I had an idea which was all about me bettering myself. So imagine the way I'm talking now. Like I'm talking like I've got one or two things figured out, right? It wasn't like that in 2013, and we're still on a journey, you know. So in 2013, it was literally, Alexander, you're a bit of a mess, mate. You could do better, and that's just in general little things, and in the larger things. So the little things might be like, you know, lateness, lack of patience. You're not really listening to other people's opinions. You think you know it all, versus bigger things like maybe the way I look at other Black men and women and how that intrinsically affects my ability to love them, myself, my people, you know, just certain things. You're walking down the road, it's another Black man, you're squaring up your chest because you had that experience and you had that childhood and you had that upbringing. So challenging myself, you know, so the rebirth looked like different things, again, you know, on different levels. So I just set my intentions, you know, 1, 2 Sage, 1, 2 Palo Santo. And then I jumped on that treadmill, and that treadmill was supposed to take me all the way to 2023. So I did little things to allow myself to become this person. So 2023 is MXIIIXM, it's an anagram. So even the fact that anytime I get a notification on one of these silly social media sites, boom, I'm reminded 2023, you're on this journey. You need to stay, you know, stay on this track. It's allowed me to essentially go into studios, call up people, you know, jump on stages, be an artist unapologetically. I was told all my life, you can't sing. Your voice is hurting my ears. My ears are bleeding. I know, you know, people are people, innit? So it's crazy, it's crazy. And these were my good friends. This was family, these were brethren. But you have people like that around you sometimes, and again, I had to learn to discard. I hope one or two of them are watching the live still. Yeah, come on, come on. But you know, so you have people that do this, and you know, I basically just wanted to rebirth. You could call it a rebrand, but I threw it into the creative spaces. So there was a full-on comic strip graphic novel in my idea. There was a full-on 9-part epic movie series. There was all the fantasy, all the sci-fi, and that's what allowed me to emerge as Alxndr London. This project's my 5th one. It's called Free Meta, and essentially, again, I'm just breaking down the whole narrative of me trying to escape something and return to something. It's literally leaving London to go back to Nigeria, literally leaving the old to become new, leaving the bad to become good, etc. That's an overview.
Okay. I know, like you said, like your Nigerian heritage has inspired your music and how you incorporate it into your songs. And I feel like, again, yesterday we were speaking about like returning home and returning back to our roots, and we were talking about like Pan-African spirituality and all of that, and you know, we were talking about how I think like this is a time where people are really starting to reconnect with their roots, and I feel like it's essential to regain consciousness, which I feel like this year is definitely a year where we do need to regain consciousness massively.
100%. By the way, it's by, can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay. By Supermo. It's amazing, everyone. I feel like I had to actively do certain things. So I'll give you an example. I was at one of the marches like last week before last week. I've been to a few, and some of them are better publicized than others. So again, just keep looking at hashtags, people. If you want to be involved and you want to lend your voice, you want to be part of the change, just keep looking at hashtags. Big up social media. That's one of the beautiful things about it. But anyways, yeah, I had to do active things. So I'm at one of the marches last week, and a lady stops me and she asked me to put something in her bag. And then she kind of looks sideways and she's like, you know what, don't worry. Let me call my brethren to put it in my bag. Oh, it's just, she don't know me, you know, like she wanted me to open her bag and put something in it. Anyways, that's not the story. The story was, he started to talk in Yoruba. And Yoruba's Nigerian language. I'm Yoruba as well. And she's talking in Yoruba to her brethren. And she's saying to her friend, oh, do you mind putting these items into my bag? I can understand this.
Does she know you can understand her?
Of course not. They never do. So this is part of the problem as well. Her brethren smiles at me and I smile back and I'm like, hey, are you part of the procession? I mean, I know you're part of the procession, but I'm being British.
Would you speak into them in English?
Yes.
Okay.
So I then go to her, hey, you know, introduce myself. And then what did she say? She said something. And then I was like, she goes to me, oh, where are you from? And I said, I'm Nigerian. And she's like, oh, and you know, visibly shocked. Then she starts to talk in Yoruba again and says to her brethren in Yoruba, oh my goodness, he's Yoruba. Then she turns back to, I know it's so jokes, isn't it? Like, I'm there, I just told you I'm Yoruba, but whatever. Then she turns to me and then she goes, can you understand it? And I was like, yes. And I started talking to her in Yoruba, very badly, poorly, you know. Anyways, cut long story short, she goes, you look Jamaican. I would have never known you look Jamaican. And that's something I've had to come up against. I know it took me a minute to get to the end of it, but it's something I come up time and time against, feeling othered, feeling like you're not actually Nigerian, because Nigerians look a certain way, talk a certain way, sound a certain way. And obviously that's ridiculous.
But I know you do say planting, but you know, other than that, I do think that's rude.
I mean, I'm used to it. I got taught from early, you're British by my parents. But at the same time, what are you doing? Do you think you're English, mate? You're Nigerian. They say those things interchangeably. So I had to figure out what they were trying to say, which is you're a child of both worlds. You're in that weird mixed race, you know, that trans mixed race type of situation where it's not visible per se, but you're a child of two nations. And little things I've had to do. So like, for instance, the project's called Free Meta.
Mm.
I'm using the Roman numerals, the Latin, the Babylon. And I'm mixing that with Yoruba, which is meta is free in Yoruba.
Yeah.
And the idea that I'm trying to seek some kind of consolation in the two worlds. So free Roman numerals, free meta. Meta means Yoruba. So yeah, it's just little active things so that maybe, you know what, a Yoruba person comes along that project and they're like, oh my gosh, it's Yoruba. I get it.
Yeah.
You know, so just trying to feel closer and more connected in the ways we can. Like, you know, actively saying, can we have a sister that looks and sounds and is from this community, opening up for me in a gig, you know? Can I actively make sure that I get my mum on a track, you know, where she's singing in Yoruba? It's just active things, you know, that you do. I don't want to get more explicit with it, but you can make choices to align yourself with different, you know, things. And I guess reclaiming and understanding where my parents came from and where I essentially am heading to has been fun. It's been a journey. I don't know if I'm answering your question anymore, by the way.
No, but it's a good conversation. One thing I've never understood, right, is, first of all, I think it's like quite insulting that they thought you were Jamaican, because like I've never understood this divide that we have, and I never will, particularly because we all essentially come from Africa anyway. Like, I'm half Jamaican, half Asian, so therefore it's likely that I probably would be from Ghana. So like it's quite like there's some likelihood there, like looking into like my family roots, I probably am. Like
you might be Nigerian though.
I could be, like I could be Nigerian. I could be.
Or like a bit, not sure.
Yeah, like I could be either or. So I've never really understood why people are like, they look at other countries or in Africa or from the Caribbean, like, oh yeah, you look like you're Jamaican. It's like, do you know what? Even if you were Jamaican, so what? Like, do you know what I mean? I just feel like it's rude. Like, it's so rude.
Do you know what? I think we're getting there. We're getting to a place.
Yeah, we're getting better.
Yeah, we're getting better. Colonialism, slavery, etc.
Yeah.
I've seen it a million times. I've seen it a million times. A million times. I could keep saying a million times where you're in a situation and it's textbook what it is. Like, someone looks a certain way, so someone's grabbing their bag and their purse and running across the road or jumping off out of a lift, or, you know, feeling anxious. And, you know, I've talked to people. I remember I was in Manchester, talked to a lady, and she was non-POC, and she said to me, oh, you know, Nigerians, and she went in, man. I gave her rope. Good 5 minutes. Going in, Nigerians this, Nigerians that. She actually liked me. She thought I was cute. Like, she wanted to, you know, whatever. I don't know what she wanted to do. But, but can you imagine? Fast forward to the end of that interaction, she's like, yeah, so, I mean, where are you from? I know you're from London, but where are you from? And I'm like, yeah, you know, them Nigerians that you were just chatting about. I'm one of them, you know? And the way the face went red, you know, proper pink and red, and, you know, shame, guilt. Like, she felt foolish because I wasn't like them, innit? I wasn't like those ones. I was different, but I am that. So I think a lot of it comes from ignorance. Our politicians don't help. I mean, they're not my politician, but they are, I guess, by default. Where...
What did he say? What did Boris Johnson say? Something about Nigerians and fraud. I think like this whole perception of all Nigerians being fraudsters as well needs to stop, and we as black people need to stop running them jokes too. Someone's just said, Renee Austin, the black community cannot expect respect if we don't love our fellow black people and see them as a brother or sister, which is true.
Simple.
Which is...
And we're getting there. We're getting, I think we're identifying that it doesn't serve us to, you know. Yesterday, I had a conversation with one of my brothers, and it was because we weren't understanding each other. We were misunderstanding each other on WhatsApp. Now, it was very easy for me to dedicate myself to being right and correct in that situation. But I was like, bro, this ain't working over on what we're, you know, what we're trying to get to is some kind of resolution. We're not achieving that. It's now taking that more personal aggression type of route. We're not understanding each other. So I said, look, let's meet up. Let's talk about this. That's not something I would have done back in the day. Back in the day, I would have been like, are you dumb? Who are you talking to? You know what? Blah, blah, blah. And it would have just got heightened and heightened. And those are things I've had to address as well. Just some stuff that is thrust upon us, aka to distrust each other, that we don't like to, you know, that we don't like to offer each other good service. You know, we need to work on the customer service one sometimes. Sometimes I'll call that one out, but yeah, I just feel like some of this stuff is regurgitated. It's like our mum and dads telling us, oh, when I came to the country, this community was like this to me, so that's how you should view them. And sometimes the kids don't, I don't know, like they don't challenge those ideas or those concepts, and they just run with it, and perpetuate this lack of understanding, this ignorance.
Yeah. You said something about, you mentioned about colonialism there. Then Kelechi Okafor this week said something about, oh, what did she say? She said something about how, due to the British coming in and creating separation, and that's why we're so separated. I'm really paraphrasing, and it's not exactly what she said, but what she said made sense about how divide and conquer, basically. You divide people, you conquer them, whereas we all actually need to actively come together, because together, obviously, we're a force. And
Sure.
it really made sense. And you've literally just said that we need to challenge of the values that we've been given from younger years and change them.
Do you know how triggering it is to work with other Black creatives? In my experience, my journey is challenging, because when I see many of them, I don't see them. I see all the Black men and women that I've had interactions with beforehand. A lot of those weren't informed with empathy, love, understanding, wisdom. They were just us responding, reacting, just being. Yeah. When you now have this new information and you're now encountering someone else, but they look the same, they sound the same, you're almost like, oh, I have to remember, this is not them. This is me getting triggered because they're talking like that person who talked about that time, and that made me feel a certain way. So it's difficult. We do need to fully do the work, and it's hard. It's really hard to not jump to conclusions, to try and talk to someone with a bit of, you know, empathy, to try and to not put our egos in front of us and be like, no, but they're moving like this, so I'm going to move like that. Maybe I'm talking as just Mac. So I grew up in Peckham. I went to school in South, but I went to school in North as well, primary in North. I went college in East. So I had a really interesting upbringing in London, where my school, I always said it felt like they were preparing us for prison. You are walking down the hallways, you barge someone, that is a fight. It's automatic. It might not happen then, but 3 months later, you're dealing with the fact that you had a barge in the hallway. That barge is getting you kicked out of lessons. That barge is having you carrying stupid things around with you, weapons, and that now making you feel like you have to live up to a certain image. You're now writing contracts with next man, because next man's like, right, I've got you, but we need to do this so that it's reciprocal. I've got your situation, but you need to have my situation, and you're getting pulled left, right, and center, and it gets crazy. And I feel for the young ones, because I'm not a driller. I don't make drill music, you know, but I have an understanding of what kind of ails some of our community, and the fact that a lot of people ain't got time for them. They can't deal with their disrespect or their supposed ignorance, and they're seen as the forgotten ones, and they go through another cycle as well. They're also another part of our community that need a lot of attention. I've so forgotten what you just talked about. No, it is the passion. The passion takes over, and then you just start to, you know, like, I'm just a vessel of the spirit. So
that's all right. It's all right. We digressed a bit, but it I kind of want to I'll spin it in my next question in it. But I did want to say, like, all of the, you know, these kids that are being forgotten, like, what is the impact on them, like mentally, like how's their mental health, like do they even like recognize that they've been through trauma? Like it's all of these little things as well, like PTSD, because this is stuff that you then carry with you on in life, and then generational trauma as well. So we've also been passed down trauma from our parents. So all of this is so like relative, which to be honest, this is why I'm so glad that like Black Lives Matter UK was started, because it's free therapy and it's like access for those who might not even have, one, known that they needed it, and two, afforded it as well. Because they're all things that are just, it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to think about, and there's a lot of work to be done. And you know, I understand that you said about, you know, not being reactive, but do you know what as well? It's then being in rooms with other people that don't look like us that have those thoughts. Because I've been in that situation. Someone said to me like, oh, we've only had one other Black person work here before, and we didn't know what you were going to be like. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
So it's really hard for us to do the work. We see it. It's other people that don't see it, and then we've then got to face those battles too.
Oh, sure. You. One of the reasons why there's a phrase in Yoruba called I'm gonna get this wrong, my pronunciation, forgive me, but it's SOROSOKE, which is soro soke, which is to speak up, raise your voice, speak out loud. Like, I can't hear you, speak up. And one of the reasons why I'm speaking up more and more on certain things is because I want to align myself with the right side of correctness, just normal correctness. Spaces that make me feel like that, I try to run away from so much, but it's hard to escape them. I live in London, and, you know, and just saying, oh, I'm going to move to Africa and it's going to be different. There's other issues there, you know? So I personally, I'm really lucky. I'm really, really lucky. I can do really good in my own space.
Yeah.
So I can be in a room with people who aren't really like me or who don't really think that. And, yo, what's your name? Alexander. Okay, so the conversation, they're trying to, I'm Alexander, I ain't got much to say, but it's lovely to meet you, is an attitude I'm taking more and more, because part of my self-care is creating them boundaries. And I'm so tired of having them interactions with people who are like, so where are you from? Go away, you know, leave me alone, don't be a friend, blah, 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 just because it's tiresome. I can't, the same way they're like, oh, we don't know what you're going to be like. How about I don't know what you're going to be like? And I kind of know what to expect, but I'm not thrusting those on you. But you know what? You want to do that to me? I've become bored of them, and I'm not in as much. I'm not really in spaces that make me have to have some of them conversations, and I'm grateful for that, because I don't do well with them. And we've all got our different skill sets, and I think sometimes I talk to some of our brethren, I'm like, fam, it's looking a bit, you know, Jordan Peele, Get Out in this situation. I'm looking at Mudgy. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm all right. Say no more. Are you doing the work? Yeah, I'm doing it. Say no more. You're having them conversations? Yeah. Say no more. You're the champion who needs to be in that space. There's the keyboard warriors who go in on all the comments. That's their, you know, role. Me personally, I'll just stay in my corner doing my thing. And it's, again, I'm grateful that I don't have to be in that space, because it's really challenging. I more time tell them about themselves, get blackballed in that interaction and engagement, and then I'm the challenging one, I'm the difficult one. No, you're evil, you're etc, etc. But I'm not even going to talk about whiteness and what it can sometimes present as, because we already know. I don't want to be part of it. I don't want to know about it. I don't, you know, but we have to. My name's Alexander. I live in London. Like, I pay bills, you know.
I pay tax just like you. Yeah.
But I'm okay with not being accepted, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I'm okay with you don't like me, you know what? I don't like you too. Boom. It's simple. I'm not here to be everyone's friend, and that's something I'm learning as well. not everyone has got the best intentions. So find your ones, find whatever keeps you good. I mean, I've got my plants, you know, I've got my supermarket, ginger beer edition, and I'm good, you know. I'm not gonna, yeah. And I take that approach with also that just human beings. Because some people, they're also on their journey. Maybe in 10 years' time, they're gonna be the best person in the world. They're gonna be like some Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, you know, type person. But right now, they're not giving me that energy. They're not presenting that, and I'm not trying to figure it out. Someone else can do the work with them, or they can do it when they're ready.
Do you feel like, I feel like obviously I've always known that I'm black, like I know that I'm a black woman, but do you feel like this year you have noticed more than ever that you are a black man? Like,
no, this year I felt like, and this is just me. This is just me. Yeah. I don't say for everyone, but I felt like in London, I could start telling other people we are black. That's what this year felt like to me. Beforehand, I felt like sometimes you're in spaces and like, you know, we are BLACK. Wink, wink, nod, nod. You didn't feel like you could maybe shout that on the rooftops because it felt like that was a dirty thing to admit to or something we shouldn't really step into. And it's weird because that's not to say people didn't have their Nigerian names. People didn't have their, they didn't have the food, the music, you know, the Nigerian football kit. It's not to say we didn't have those things, but all of a sudden I can say our country's SH, you know, our country's.
You can swear, son.
Oh, can we?
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. I'm trying to be so PC, you know. So I want to talk about burning down Babylon and all these things and causing problems for everyone. But, you know, like it just felt like this year there was a connectivity on a next level that I with. So I already knew, but my mum had me watching Roots when I was like in secondary school.
Listen, I had to watch Roots one summer holiday and my mum goes to me, you're watching one episode every day and you're not leaving this house.
Same.
Until you watch one episode a day, and then I want you to tell me everything that's happened at the end of this episode so I know you've watched it.
There you go. And I think things like that made me aware acutely. So I'd go into class and I'd be like, but that's that same move that they pulled on my man in the movie. They made him feel like this. But that's what the teacher's doing to me right now. Then I'll try to argue and say, but I know what you're doing. Get out of my class, Alexander. Do you know what I mean? So I became acutely aware that you don't really speak up. Don't expect to necessarily get the justice or the outcome you're requesting. But this year felt a bit different. And it feels even more personal to me because I want to be able to go back to Nigeria. You talked about Kelechi and the division. There's North Nigeria, there's East, and then there's South, roughly, something like that. Or Southeast, Southwest. Sorry, the supermarket's got me gassy. Apologies, everyone. But yeah, Tutus, you've got that divide, you've got the North. And if you look at the history of Nigeria, unfortunately, outside Western influences pulled the strings on a lot of those relationships. They had people clashing with each other that typically shouldn't have. And if they all sat down and removed any white or European or British influence, they could have sat down and been like, hold on, why are we listening to these people? Why are we still perpetuating, like, you know, why? Let's challenge this. It's different, but the harm that's been done to us as a people is generational, you know. And again, I've lost my train of thought, but I feel like, yeah, anything we can do actively, if there's anything we can do that I've learned, is speaking up. It's remembering that you're not alone. There's other people who've had a similar experience to you.
Yeah.
You know, find that solace, find whatever keeps you good. Remembering that we're black. You're black, by the way. If you're black, you're black. It don't matter how many brethren you've got who are not black, or how they treat you, or whether you get abused or anything. You're still black. You're still you're African. You're of the continent, and don't allow these little things to divide us. Don't allow these little things. I'm not perfect. I might look at someone the wrong way, but don't get caught up in those little petty things. Be bigger people. Be greater. And together we'll just rise and do amazingly. But we need to dun the attitude of we are each other's enemies, or we are each other's, you know, problems. Mindset that can be easily deconstructed, and you can see it's not really what it is. It's just bad experience by hurt people hurting other people, really, you know.
I totally agree with that, and I feel like there definitely is progress. I think there were two sides to this year. I feel like there's been like a collective consciousness of people coming together, but I also personally feel like there's a lot more racism. Like it's like a vacuum that's been sucked up, and it's like it's right there, and I feel like that's what has made me feel like, oh, like every day to some degree I see that there's something about negative in the media about black people. There's something, and I'm like, why? Like, what? It's always something. I see something every day. There's always something on social media that, you know, speaks ill of black people, and I'm grateful this year that more of us are coming together and more of us are speaking about our experiences. I feel like that's very powerful, because I feel like sometimes we as black people can sit there and think to ourselves like, oh, has that happened to anyone else, or is that just me? I don't know whether to say that to someone else, or is that all in my head, or do you know what I mean?
No, that's, I think you said it a lot more succinctly than I did, but yeah, literally, like I feel like we've got more confidence in each other. I'm grateful. I was also able to start like a project called Seasons last year, but able to really develop it more this year. And my whole aim was just to learn more about Nigeria, learn more about the continent, being Yoruba, the other nations that make up Nigeria, the Igbo, the Hausa, the Fulani, you know, Edo Kingdom, Delta State, this, that, you know, even being able to know the geography and be like, oh, Osun State's there, and Ogun State's there, and Lagos is there, and this, and, you know, just really delving into and reclaiming. Like, I can't be knowing where Peckham is and Stratford, and, you know, and then not knowing it, again, just aligning certain things and getting rid of that postcode type London thing, and just really detaching myself from things that don't really serve me. But yeah, no, this year, it's been nice to speak up. It's been really good through that platform. I've leaned more into social media. I don't really like social media. I struggle with it a bit. I'm not a big fan, because I know what it is, and it's weird for you to engage with something, and I know what I'm doing, and it's weird. Even sometimes, you know, saying like retweeting something like Buhari must go, and Buhari is the Nigerian president. Yeah. Saying something like Buhari must go. I don't want to be an agent for someone signing something saying sanctions in Nigeria. Then we start seeing American troops marching through Nigeria, and then they put some puppet leader up on the stage, and you know, you're almost conflicted. You're like, should I send this message? But I don't want to scare someone, and I don't want to do this, and you're almost scared into fear. You also get people who are almost like, this year's been really heavy. I can't do it again. I can't get involved in yet another struggle. You also have people who are dealing with real life. We talked about homelessness. We talked about, they ain't got time to be on Twitter or IG sending messages. They got real life going on, you know. But whatever you can do, I will encourage any and everyone. Sorry. I will encourage every and anyone.
I wouldn't drink Supermalt on a live again.
Unless you just
do like me and drink water.
Yeah. But it's really nice. It's like, it's not gassy. It's like a, you know, Supermalt's got small bubbles.
I don't like it. I don't like Supermalt.
Mad. It's all right. I'm not going to let the little things divide us.
I should have just said I liked it. But
no, speak your truth. Not every day, like, just, yay.
I don't eat ackee either. I'm not an Hey, yeah. Separate the saltfish and the ackee. Have the saltfish.
Do you like Nigerian food?
Yeah. I'll try. Like, when it comes to food, like, I'll try all different types of food.
Okay.
110%. Like.
Okay. What's your favorite Nigerian dish?
I've had Nigerian jollof, but I've had some like meat. Don't ask me what it was called. It was on a plate and I ate it. And it
was it nice?
Yeah, it's good. It was nice.
Yeah. Our food is incomparable with some of our other nations in Africa, like, you know, Ghana. I don't know if you've heard
My
about.
best friend's Ghanaian, in it, so one of my best friends is Ghanaian. Love her food too. But do you know what? I keep asking her for her recipe, and she hasn't sent it to me yet. So if anyone can send me a good recipe,
it's because it comes from a Nigerian cookbook.
Shame. But yeah, no, I always get cussed out for not liking ackee. Like every time I tell people I don't like certain foods, they're like, "You're faking." That's what I get called.
No, it's fair enough. You're allowed to not like your. I swear that's your national dish, fruit.
Yeah, there's like a Bayesian national drink I don't like as well. It's called Morbi. I hate that. It's very like bitter. So all these national dishes I don't like. But generally, like I do eat like a lot of different foods. I just don't like them.
But fair enough.
I know.
Sorry, I feel like you're asking something. Then my brain.
What
goldfish.
did I say? We've got like 7 minutes, right? What? Do you know? To be fair, we've naturally spoken about everything. Like literally, the last 2 questions on here were about like the British Nigerian experience, but we've literally covered that in like the first 10 minutes. But I will ask you, like, to you this year, what does it mean for you to be a British Nigerian? Like, what does that mean to you in 2020?
It means like stop pretending we have a great relationship with Britain. Stop pretending we don't. You personally, one person self, might have a great relationship. You might have all these friends that make you feel like you're accepted and this and that. Great. We stop this idea that Africans or black people have this luxury of seeing ourselves as individuals is something I'm yet to fully understand and see. Yes, if you've got enough money and you're born into certain situations, you can easily you're not going to hear certain things maybe to your face, but it doesn't mean that you now are completely removed from the struggle. I don't know that you and your money make you greater than that affiliation to your blackness. I don't know, but I think some people may be in that kind of thing. But anyways, yeah, my point being, we're all part of it. Stop voting for the Tories, you weird people. Like, your mum and dad didn't do it, and I think you should talk to them and ask them why they didn't do it. Stop getting money and education and then etc. and then forgetting about everyone. Use your privileges, use your understanding to move everyone forward, because it will leave a better world for those that come after you, including maybe your children, your nephews, your nieces, you know, whatever, people that look like you. Don't get so carried away that you forget that other people may not have it as good as yourself. That's what I learned at being black, Nigerian, British. I learned to just give my people, be more patient with my people as well. When they do stuff and I'm like, why are you doing this foolishness? I really want to respond. Just having a bit more time, seconding myself. I learned that I'm doing great stuff with like the homeless community, but I could do more stuff with more immediate like community. So I've been having conversations with people back home, just seeing where I can be of assistance. I put up on my IG the other day, if anyone wants some mentorship type opportunities, shout me. I've just learned to just, stop pretending it's all gravy. It's not, because you won't heal, you won't move on, you won't learn. And it's felt nice to be able to do that. Because again, I mean, I'm not saying people shouldn't laugh and they shouldn't be happy and everything, but don't get caught up in the memes and don't get distracted, because these problems existed 60 years ago at the conception of Nigeria, and they still exist 60 years later. There's a reason why. And if you don't speak up and challenge certain things, don't expect to change. It's no point being into Nigerian men. Anyways, you get where I'm coming from. Like, you know, put your energies correct, because there might not be no Nigerian men in God knows how many years are to come. If the way it's going, it's going to be a mess. No one's going to want to associate themselves with that country. If the momentum we've seen doesn't build into something more, I'll be very disappointed. Change is necessary. 2023, I'm going back to Nigeria to vote.
Okay.
I've got dual citizenship, whatever you call it. So I'm going to renew my passport and I'm going to go back and vote so I can be part of that change.
I feel like it's really important to have dual citizenship for everyone out there that's listening. And it's something that I need to decide which one to go for, Jamaican or Barbados. But I feel like I probably might go for Barbados. I'm really not sure, but I will be having one of them. But
can't you do both?
No.
Oh.
To choose one or the other. But I think that you make a really good point. We need to be active agents of change if we want to make a difference. We have to be active agents for change. And, you know, you're going home and putting your vote in a place where you can make change happen is actively doing something for change. Like you said, we can't keep getting caught up in the cycle of memes and all of this social media culture, because there's a world outside of that and it does affect us. And even for that, you know, 10 minutes where you're scrolling turns into about 2 hours.
Yeah. That's our new, I think that's one of the newest battles we're going to have to face as a people. Not getting sucked into the latest dance. Anyways, I'm sounding like a dinosaur, but
no, not at all.
Not getting sucked into the latest dance moves and then ignoring other stuff. Do you know what I mean? Just balance. There's a time to sleep and then there's a time to be up and active. Sun, moon, day, night, etc. Big planet, small planet, big fish, little fish, big what, small what. You know, like just.
Do you know what though? Just saying that, like talking about like dual citizenship and stuff. You know, like a lot of people didn't even like. I speak to my friends about it. Some of them didn't even know that they could get it because I'm third. Like it was my grandparents that were born in Jamaica and Barbados, and I said to my friends, I was like, you can get it. Like as long as you can go to and get your grandparents like birth certificates. A lot of our people don't even know that they can actually get dual citizenship and, you know, implement these changes. So
I hope the next few years we're just bombarded with more and more information. We start learning, start growing, we start seeing them Black Saturday schools popping up again, you know, like the youngers really have it together. I want Akala to not be an individual one person we run to when we want to get information, you know, and I think with that kind of forward movement, imagine there were thousands of Akalas, bloody hell, thousands with the same level of, you know, so let's imagine that and work towards that. I think
UK would be effed if we could be as eloquent and as knowledgeable as him.
Right.
You can't govern a free thinking mind.
Yeah. I think that's where it needs to go. But we need to work backwards and figure out how did he get there, or how do people get to a place like that, and then look at where we're at right now and make them changes to see those changes reflected in our realities. I don't know if I've answered half of the questions you've asked, but you said I did, so I'm like, good. But
we've done well. We did say yesterday, you did say, like, you was like, oh, I might go for the tangent. I was like, it's fine.
I've tried so hard, you know. I'm like, what did she say? What did she say? What did I do? But yeah, I want better for all of us, man. I want us all to move forward. I want us to all be better. I want to put my kid in a school and not have to worry about his friends' parents aren't with it because they've got the same stuff that we've been dealing with and trying to eradicate and challenge. That kid's going through it. So my kid can't learn in class because of, and you know what I mean? Like, or how about this? My parents are amazing. They go to church like every Sunday. Like they meet me when I was growing up as a teenager. That's not who I look like. I look like a representation of my environment. So this idea that we're going to make it in like individually and move forward, that's dead to me. That's like I don't know that we have that privilege. I think it's about the collective. Yeah, everyone do what you need to do, but don't see our next man not achieving or not finishing and not try to do your bit to try and challenge that, whatever that looks like. You know, just be better, everyone.
Be better, do better, be active to change. So walks with angels motivation starts with parenting, I think. Install it from young so they understand the worth before society has corrupted them. This comment section has been really good today. Thank you.
Where? My mind can't do the both.
I've practiced the comments have been amazing. Actually, I wish the comments would actually save on the video so people could see them after, because there have been some really good comments. But this will be saved on IGTV, and it will be up on our YouTube as well. I put your EP details on there too.
Yeah, so check it out, everyone. Link in bio, etc., etc.
Yeah, so people can check it out. This has been great. Like, definitely come back for another, like, 100%.
Oh, thank you.
Come back. 100%.
You know what? And there I was like, I'm not really gonna bring no academia or any like theories from any psychologists or professors or any articles I've read. But I mean, I hope someone got one or two things from what I said. Maybe, hopefully.
Dropped a few gems. I think there's more than one or two. I think if anyone watches this back, like, this has been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your super malt.
I've got another one as well somewhere. I'm gonna find it and back it.
Right. Oh, drop us where we can find you as well. Like, where can everyone find you?
MXIXM on social, and I mean, if you've got the time, Google me. I don't know, stuff will pop up. ALXNDR. That's Alexander, and then London, normal spelling. My artist name. I don't know, man. People are weird when they want to find you. They proper find you in it, and then they like, oh, I found this about you. So, I mean, as the spirit leads you, I guess. I'm on Spotify and iTunes and Apple and stuff.
Wicked.
I don't know.
Okay, wicked. I'll link it. I'll put that all on like YouTube and stuff, so when it goes up, people can check you out, and then you're tagged below as well. So guys, go and check out Alexander. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And please enjoy the rest of your wonderful Sunday.
And you, likewise. I feel good. I've felt a bit like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't know, but I feel good now. I feel all right. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. Thank you so much to everyone that's tuned in this evening and in the comments. You guys are wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So yeah, thank you guys, and speak to you soon, Alexander. It's been great.
You too. Likewise.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Are you gonna stop it? Am I stopping it?
Hold on. You know what, my phone? I'm trying to press.
All right. All right. Ladies first. Go for it.
Right, let me